Neural networks power some of the most cutting-edge technology today, from self-driving cars to Siri to modeling proteins. Plus, they're all over the news. How can neural networks do so many different things at once? And what really are they? Let's say we own an ice cream stand and we want to know how much ice cream we can sell this summer, so we don't make too much or too little. With a weather forecast, we'll know how hot it'll be each day, so we'll predict the amount of ice cream sold by using the temperature. To make this prediction, we'll estimate based on our data from last summer. Each point represents one day from last summer. The horizontal position is the temperature that day, while the vertical position is the amount sold that day. To model this data, we can calculate a best fit line. The best fit line gives us a good idea of the relationship between the amount of ice cream sold and temperature. With the best fit line, we can also make predictions. For example, let's say that on June 1st, it's going to be 79 degrees. We can find the corresponding point on the best fit line, then figure out how much ice cream we can sell. Now let's say we've grown into a nationwide ice cream chain that sells ice cream year-round. Our temperatures will extend both in the positive and negative directions, and there's no single line that can give a good estimate of what's happening anymore. Instead, we're gonna fit this curve. The curve I've drawn here is just a hypothetical best fit curve. We can't actually make this curve, but we can approximate it with a neural network. Here's the setup. Imagine I have a line going in and a line coming out. Nothing's changed. The line doesn't match this curve we want at all, but we can add a neuron. The neuron is a mathematical abstraction, so there's no physical neuron on your computer. It's able to take this line and bend it once like this. The bend is adjustable, and the computer calculates where the bend should be based off the data. Now with one bend, the fit's already better, but we can add another neuron and another bend, even closer. With 6 neurons and 6 bends, we get a really good fit. So a neural network is basically just a beefy curve fitter. It's got neurons that bend a straight line into a jagged line that fits the curve. Each neuron is really simple and probably only has around 0.1% of the computational capacity of a real neuron in your brain. But as they say, neurons together strong. Neural networks are curve fitters. Now I'll prove to you that neural networks can do absolutely everything. Okay, there are some things neural networks can't do. They're big boxes made up of a ton of massive numbers, so your data has to be numerical, or there's got to be some way to turn it into numbers in order to use a neural network. But once we have numbers, there has to be a curve that you can draw through it, no matter how complicated that curve ends up being. Then, we can always find a neural network that can fit the curve really, really well. To imagine how, cover the curve with short line segments, and have a neuron to add a bend between each pair of consecutive line segments. The caveat is that this might require a lot of bends and thus a lot of neurons, but in theory it's always possible. So, neural networks can fit any curve. And this fact is a name. It's called the Universal Approximation Theorem. Fancy, right? Neural networks are so universal because math is so universal. Massive numbers are like a universal language that are common to everything, whether it be self-driving cars, Siri, or modeling proteins. All of these things are just really complicated curves in space that we can model with neural networks. And maybe so are you.